I mean, look at this. I know some people don't like it, but they don't know anything. Architects here were trying to create a new system of living, a new utopia of the modern time. I mean, do I like this? Yes. Do I like my feeling in the countryside? Sure.
You're watching Stripping Architecture, and today we will strip London's urban design through 5 different points of view: as a regular tourist, architect, engineer, urbanist/sociologist, and as a dreamer. Our major goal is to give you certain kind of guidelines that can help you to observe the cities in an alternative way, and not as it is written in the tourist books. So if you just want to visit cities and look at cool buildings, go ahead and take the blue pill and change the channel. But if you want to be aware about the urban phenomena of the city, then don't worry, you don't have to take the red pill, just keep watching. So, when you visit a certain city, many of its characteristics or underlying issues remain hidden. That is because cities are a fabric of continuous invisible interactions that you cannot see as a regular tourist. So how to strip down the buildings and reveal the hidden urban phenomena? Tourist.
Look, bridge. Hey, look, ugly tower. Hey, look, another ugly tower. They say it's some date museum. I don't know. Let's check it out. Damn it, and another ugly tower. I've seen it in the pictures, but it's not the one I'm looking for. I don't know what it was, that one with the clock something on it or something.
The major identity of one city is based on different legends and stories. These stories are often embodied by some buildings that have the power to visually extend the meaning of the story. Simple explanation is the clock tower Big Ben.
That's the tower I was looking for. They call it Big Bang Bang Boom, Big Bang Boom, something like that, I don't know. I like it.
It symbolizes many things: the 4 nations of Britain, power and control over the time, the glory of the monarchy, and the list goes on. But does it tell anything about the average British person? No, not at all. Yet, everyone in the world knows that this tower is in London and that it means something to the locals. Now, here comes the paradox. Why would you go and visit a monument that you already know how it looks? What is the point? To confirm that it exists? Usually, when you visit some landmark, you approach to it as an achiever and not as a curious person. Have you noticed yourself saying, finally I'm here? Subconsciously, curiosity comes when you want to witness how the landmark fits in the actual context of the city as a whole.
Oh, architect. Brutalism, gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, look at that.
Therefore, pretend you're some crazy architect and start recognizing some sort of a distinct style of architecture that it repeats itself, but it doesn't configure the urban fabric of the city.
Oh, can you see that? Both structuralism and metabolism. Amazing, isn't it?
This kind of architecture usually suggests a marker in the history of that city. So the moment you spot this type of architecture, go and explore it a bit deeper, and you may reveal different phenomena. For example, if you visit Barbican, you will notice serious effort of preserving this residential complex alive. But if you visit Trellick Tower, you will see typical brutalist residential block in decline. Why is that? Try to see how people live in these places. Visit the local restaurants and dare to enter inside the interior. Hallways, stairs, shops and elevators are important messengers of the society, because that's where the invisible interactions mostly occur. Then, pay attention to the usual buildings that are consisting the urban fabric. For example, in London, we have noticed plenty of balconies on all the buildings, and they were not used as a storage. So that was interesting. For a place with, generally speaking, bad weather, many London buildings have balconies, open porches or elevated promenades, which indicates people's desire for an open space within their living unit. Also, the variety in architectural details show something about the citizens. Do they care about the city or not? Are they open-minded, or maybe they're just less included in the building process? Engineer.
I mean, without us, structural engineers, cities would have not looked like this. I mean, probably would have looked like this, you know, I mean.
Then, just like an engineer, look out for the most complex structural engineering you can find. Whenever you see a complex and innovative structural appearances, you need to know that a lot of money are in the game. If you notice patterns of intriguing structural engineering in certain area, then that area might be under huge redevelopment process, political attention, or business zone of interest. If this area is next to canals, rivers, or places with industrial heritage, then there are certain indications for a social inequality or unjustful urban planning. This is the case with London's riverbanks. So many intriguing buildings designs are scattered around the river of Thames, and for such a big city there is no wide and distinct promenade for walking along the river. Urbanist/sociologist.
So, as pedestrian, you were kinda nicely stuck between the integrity of the private property, like for example here, even the church over here has fenced its private property, and you're stuck between the private property and the fencing from the street.
Then dare to walk at places that are a bit away from the center of the city. If you're not ready to do so, here is a challenge. Visit areas around public greenery and areas with limited public greenery, and for sure you will see social shift and shift in urban models. Also, try to make comparison between 4 elements in one area: building, yard, car, park. The spectrum of variety within these features will tell you a lot about the social structure of the city. You will start noticing weird things. Why green area and the method of transport should be social characteristic about someone. Look profoundly in all the details around you. First, pay attention to things we use the most and observe their condition. Analyze streets, sidewalks, public transport, urban equipment and their correlation with all the motion that people are doing in order to complete something. For example, London is a city with high taxes, but potholes and flooded areas are common sight, and at the same time our impression was that an average Londoner is not a very patient person. Why is that? Is there any correlation between these two observations? Now, of course, observing people's action, culture, food is probably the most difficult part, and for that you'll need a lot of time in order to comprehend it in a decent manner. Dreamer.
And now we're walking down the underground living units, where you can see it's like a catacomb, like a caves, and there you find strange little killed giants. Very scary.
Finally, the most important thing is to enjoy the city in a spontaneous manner. However, an interesting exercise for everyone would be if you dare to reimagine the city as a fantasy. For example, London is mentioned in many science fiction books and has been part of amazing dystopian movies and shows, such as V for Vendetta or Black Mirror. The concentrated political power of London, the colonial past and the industrial heritage gives you an opportunity to perceive London as some dystopian metropolis. Find your own story about the city you're visiting. You're allowed to do so. Now, please don't get us wrong, we're well aware that there are many different ways to approach and analyze a city, but we believe that these 5 are sufficient enough in order to give us some general conclusion about visiting and observing a city in an alternative way that can help us to dismantle and strip the hardware and explore the hidden software. And here we come with some of our conclusions. When visiting cities, try to have fun, but don't get hung up on the landmarks. They're not the mirror of the society, in fact they're a show, like on the illustration that we have prepared for you. Try to keep those landmarks in the back of your mind, something like an abstract thing. It may sound simple, but it's a true challenge. Try to visit the cities by ignoring the landmarks and completely erasing their existence, and then reflect yourself in that city. If you're a baker, imagine how would you be in that city as a baker. Just try it, and visiting another city may look like visiting another world. Thank you for watching. As always, stay tuned and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.